What is up, everyone? We are back with another review. I don't know what else to say, man. I think we're off to a really good start. We're 3 episodes in. I'm excited with what we've gotten so far. I know it hasn't been anything insanely crazy, but it's still fun. I expect to have some excitement with this show, but when they do things like some of the stuff that they did in this episode, I mean, I'm a little broken. I'm not gonna lie. Do want to clarify, obviously, this is a spoiler review, so we're going to be diving into crazy stuff. And obviously, I don't say this every episode, but where we get some craziness. Craziness. My lisp is kicking in. That's how bad it is in this episode. So I'm worried. I'm worried to talk about it, but it needs to be done. Of course, if you guys want to see the reaction and want to see me watch the episode, you can go check out my channel. Everything's in the description. Hopefully we can start talking normally because we're just so worked up from this episode. They've done a really good job. I mean, everything from the acting, the music, just everything in general has really just messed me up. And it's safe to say that's a good thing when it comes to a show. You want to feel emotions, obviously, but dude, it's becoming crazy. We start off the episode, of course, wondering what the hell, where we were going to start from the last episode. We know Sylvie kind of got caught, and we were trying to figure all that out. And to start the episode off, in a sense, with the flashbacks, which I thought was a cool choice. I truly wasn't sure if we were going to get the entire episode as kind of a flashback, so we could get to know the general, if you will, of the group that's kind of been a big problem for us. So I was looking forward to seeing how that was going to play out. But of course, that was just a little snippet to give us a little taste of who we were kind of messing with. And at the time, I was like, if this is an entire episode or like 30 minutes of the episode goes to the flashback, it would be a really bold move, considering that I feel like us as an audience, and not just me maybe, aren't that connected to this character that they have showed. I think her name's Marion. So it's a little interesting. I was interested to see what they were gonna do, but I did like the idea of her. I love characters that kind of build their way up, and she was definitely one of those characters. Kind of gave me a similarity between her and Carol, where Carol was kind of the woman that people kind of looked down on. She couldn't really defend herself. She was just there. And then we dive into to Marion, who is another character who, she's a janitor. She was getting disrespected. She didn't really have. I guess she wasn't really looked upon. And to see where she is now and to see where Carol is now, it's just really cool because ultimately it's going to come down to probably a battle between the two, which will be pretty awesome to watch. But I really love seeing everything that's happening in the like that kind of led up to the apocalypse, or the beginning of the apocalypse. Call me a sick bastard, but I am a big fan of seeing how things kind of went to hell. And I think they did a really good job with this little snippet, little clip that we got in the beginning of the episode. Kind of reminds me of like just anytime we get an Order 66 scene in Star Wars, even though it's a really really messed up sequence, like we are bound to see people die, we're bound to see something crazy happen. It's just something that it's really impactful for me because we know it leads to the craziness that is that world that is Star Wars, or in this case that is The Walking Dead. So to see any part of the world, whether it's the United States, whether it's California, Virginia, France, to see the moment where everything goes to hell, it's just so impactful for me. So to see her husband have to die in front of her is extremely brutal. But again, all these moments, it's what makes these characters, and it makes them so kind of it makes their character have so much depth. So it's a really interesting thing. Yeah, people might think it's played out. It's something we see a lot of, but for me, it's how things are in this world. So it makes sense. So again, I am really looking forward to seeing more of this character. She is she is giving off crazy vibes. Like she's a boss. Like we already know this. Like that little instance we had with her in one of Gradon. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to say his name right. But Stefan. God, I don't know. But to see the interaction that she had with one of his soldiers, where she literally made this dude eat food off the floor, was just it was a power move. And again, not only did she flex in front of Carol, but she's just kind of into to the viewers. We're seeing how much weight or how much power she actually has, because this dude didn't roll his eyes. He didn't really even hesitate. He was just like, yeah, bro, like I'm in kind of a bad position. I gotta just do it. That's just what that's how she carries herself. She is at that level where she can just tell a grown ass man to be like, yo, like, food is a commodity. We do not waste it. Eat that shit. Like she has already proving herself to be a threat. Of course, we're only having a couple episodes left, so it would be interesting to see her kind of outlive the 6 episodes, considering that we know we're getting a season 3, and it'd be cool to see that kind of stretch into that. But because of course, anytime with this whole 6 episode format, for me personally, it's a real hit or miss. It could be great in the sense where they're not milking anything, we're diving straight into the meat and potatoes, but at the same time, it can be really annoying because there's so much more we know we can get, and then they just kind of dip over everything because they know they need to get to the finale. So it, like, sometimes it's a little rushed, but right now I'm kind of happy with the pacing. It's just how they're going to close out the last 3 episodes. It's what I'm worried about. But again, knowing we're getting a season 3 is what's kind of helping me cope with it all. And I think that's the difference between this and, say, like, The Ones Who Live, where we knew we only had that 6 episodes to kind of like enjoy and breathe in everything. So anytime they didn't do something, we were just like, how are they going to do this in the next 2 episodes? So we're panicking. But knowing that we have more is helping me realize, like, maybe they can take their time. It's not the end of the world, and what we're getting is impactful. It is meaningful, so I am enjoying what we've gotten. But of course, after we have that whole sequence, it leads into seeing where Sylvie is, and this is where the whole big kind of like spoiler comes from. Sylvie is a character that I've truly enjoyed. We start off with her praying, begging for Laurent's safety, well-being, and I'm over here thinking, she doesn't even know with what happened with her, her boyfriend. Like, we don't really know what's going on. She doesn't know what's going on, and to like in my head immediately, I'm just like, yo, like, at this point, her and Daryl are the only people I want to live right now. Honestly, I want to see her make it through everything because she's going through a lot. I don't know why I had to think that, because I feel like I am responsible. I have jinxed it, because 10, not even 5 minutes later, we dive to her escaping, have a really badass moment of her getting out. And, the fact is, she was able to speak to the guy who unlocked the door. She was like, I understand this isn't your fault. We need to do things, unfortunately, this is how things need to be. And part of me was just like, okay, this is kind of like a power move. Like, I don't know if she's just saying that to get out of, dying, but at the same time, it's just one of those things where, I am really, I was really rooting for her to be like, you know what, maybe I can turn some of these people, and, maybe they'll understand that they're all being crazy bastards. But as soon as she started running and making a scene, I was like, okay, they're gonna kidnap her. They're gonna end up just throwing her back into the cell, and they're gonna end up talking to her a little bit. That's where my head was. But when they trapped her on the bridge, I was like, okay, how are we doing this? It's probably just gonna be a normal, hey, we got you surrounded, you're done. Or I thought maybe she was gonna jump in on the other side of the bridge. There was gonna be water. But when she fell, and all of a sudden you hear I my brain stopped for a second, because I'm like, oh, maybe she just broke her legs. Maybe she's still around. But again, one thing you gotta admire about this franchise is that they don't pull punches, and they are continuing to do that with this episode. Sylvie, of course, being a favorite, at least for me, and I feel like a lot of other people have enjoyed her character. To see her come to an end in this way is really brutal. I get it, but it stinks. It really does. But I'm really, really excited to hear what you guys have to say about them kind of cutting her life that short. Again, it's a big mistake in my opinion, because I really think they could have done a lot more with her character. But at the end of the day, I understand why they did it. I'm sure it's going to lead to something kind of big later on, because of course we see Isabel having, I don't know what's going on with her head, but she's kind of scaring me with the way she's acting. She grabbed that metal piece. I'm pretty sure that was her. I don't think it was Daryl, so I'm a little curious on what she's doing with that. But of course, next episode, I believe things are going to pick up a little bit. It's going to be really nuts, and we're going to dive into more on why I believe it's going to be crazy in a little bit. But of course, Daryl getting captured. But we have like a whole 5 minute action sequence, which I think is amazing. I truly enjoy just seeing some of these characters. Like, plot armor or not, just to see these characters turn into tanks and shred through all these people is insane. Like this dude is taking down 30 men, and to see Norman Reedus just in his bag with some of this the choreography, it's just like he's getting up there in age, but knowing that he could still kick ass like that, it's just so entertaining to watch. And that's like one of my favorite. That's my character, Daryl. I fucking love it. So to see what they're doing in these action sequences and the like the heart and the the fact that they're straight up killing it, it's just always great to see. And it felt like The Walking Dead, just him shredding through these dudes. And of course it led to him getting tied up. Then Isabel ended up meeting with him. Laurent, of course, being poisoned and not poisoned, but of course being like it was like a roofie type thing. Like this dude was like he was drowsy, didn't know what was going on, and they almost killed him for it. And the fact that they turned Sylvie again, it's really kind of putting like like for this group, the cult, it's really kind of pushing them out there even more because we know that they're bad guys, but there's a point where it's like, hey, like maybe he is immune, but then at the same time it's like they're crazy trying to prove that he's immune. Like them thinking he's like the next Jesus is one thing, like it's already crazy, but the crap that they're doing to get to this point is insane, and it just shows how crazy these people are. I'm worried. I'm nervous, but knowing that we're gonna be getting some probably crazy action in the next episode with the way things ended, with Carol getting caught and then her being like, "Hey, I'm actually here to kill." Daryl. I'm not here to be his friend, even though she told Stefan, I believe his name is, that that's my brother. He's the only family I have left. So we know it's gonna lead into something crazy. The fact that they were like, "Hey, like you want to kill him? Well, we're gonna let you kill him, but we're gonna do things a little differently." Like they're gonna kill everybody there, or at least they're gonna try to. I'm really curious to see how that does go down because I really would love to see Carol kind of manipulate or befriend the big guy, the one that was eating the food off the floor, because he is one of the guys that was in that bunch. So I don't know how that's gonna happen, but again, that entire as soon as I saw that group together, I'm like, okay, this is probably gonna be bad. Like I have a feeling things are gonna go like this. And she's like, oh, you wanted to kill him, this is your chance. And as soon as I saw them all like lined up, and she was like, oh, it's time for you guys to do your part, I was like, okay, yeah, this is a wrap. This is a wrap because we saw how they handled it in the beginning of the episode with them saying thank you for your service, and then boom, 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 they're all gone. Um, of course, and it brings us to Carol's only friend there, who ended up betraying her because he wanted to find his husband, and that's one thing that I'm also curious about because I understand he doesn't really know Carol, he doesn't owe her shit. So at the end of the day, I understand why he did it. The fact that he believed that they would kind of give him what he wanted, that was kind of a stupid thing. But of course, she did let him go, as far as we know. I'm sure if he is dead, we'll get that reveal pretty soon, which will be really sick. But we're diving into the next episode, and it's gonna be really crazy to see how they end up handling things. Like I am nervous. I am nervous, but I am ready, and I'm sure you guys are gonna have a blast with it. And you guys, of course, know you can check out my reactions on my channel, and on top of that, you can check out all of our reviews for every episode that we're gonna do on TeamJVS's channel right here. So stay tuned. Hoping to go live on my channel to talk about The Walking Dead in the future, whether it's Dead City, maybe possibilities of other spin-offs, a continuation of The Ones Who Live, whatever it is. I really just love talking about The Walking Dead. We're playing the Telltale games over there, and we're just doing all around fun stuff. So stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching, and I appreciate all of you. You guys are great. Peace out.